Hi, I'm Ed Moschetti from Control Specialties. We're going to take a few minutes and give you some ideas on how you can ensure that you have clean, dry air for your facility. If we take a look first of all at the concept of filtration, the best way I can explain it to you is think about having a variety of balls available to throw into the forest. So we go from a beach ball to a basketball to a golf ball and so on. And I've tried to represent that by these round shapes that are sitting over on their side. And if you will, here's the forest. And the way I've constructed the forest is we have the large trees first, then the medium-sized trees, and the small-sized trees on the back end. And that's the concept of filtration, that you want to have your coarsest filtration first to knock out the big stuff, and then the next layer of filtration, smaller, to take out the medium-sized particles, and then use the smallest filtration media to remove the smallest particles. If you reverse the process and you have the smallest filtration media first, you're going to wind up clogging it up very quickly with the large particles, and essentially your filtration will not be effective. And in many cases, the most efficient way to filter, if you've got a wide range of things to clean up in your compressed air before you actually utilize it in your facility, is you probably want to go to multi-stage filtration, and that's a whole discussion topic to its own, but keep this concept in mind. It's very, very important. If we take a look at the basic elements of a compressed air system, we've got, of course, the air compressor, an aftercooler, a separator, and the air receiver, and those become, if you will, the producing part of the system. The aftercooler many times will have an air drain location on it, and you would use an air drain trap. Certainly the separator will and your air receiver will. And these become two very, very important air drain traps to get the first level of moisture and aerosols out of the air system. Typically you'll want to go to some sort of a coalescing filter on the outlet of that to pick up the coarse materials that have come through the air receiver. And then you've got choices to either send that air out to your plant if that's of sufficient cleanliness to meet your requirements, or if you need to clean it up some more and also get additional moisture and other aerosols out, you consider using an air refrigerated dryer, which would have filtration on it, or a desiccant dryer, which again would have filtration on it, and that again becomes a determination of the amount of cleanliness that you air in your air to your facility. In most municipalities now, you're not permitted to discharge contaminated water into a sewer line, and you certainly probably don't want it in your own water treatment plant if you have it. So there are devices which are made, which are oil water separators, and essentially you can bring this contaminated water into this oil water separator, and it goes through a series of filtration steps here, and the oil soaked media is typically removed through a drain and also filtration bags. And in most units, the water that comes out of here is almost really that safe that you could drink it, although I really wouldn't recommend it. We'll just talk for a minute about dryers. There are basically two types of dryers that are capable of doing the heavy-duty lifting, and they include a refrigerated dryer, which are typically operated at dew points of 38 degrees Fahrenheit, but you can go lower if you have unusual situations where you need to move and remove large quantities of water. You need to be extremely dry. There are desiccant filters, and in the case of desiccant filters, you've got a media there which has got to be recharged, and typically compressed air is used to do that. In both cases, whether they are refrigerated dryers which consume power, electrical power to operate, or a desiccant dryer which consumes compressed air to accomplish the same function, realize that your dryers are a cost component to producing your air for your plant. Coalescing filters are great for point of use, and they come in a variety of sizes and filtration medias, and in some cases come with a built-in timer drain, which we don't particularly favor because of all the situations associated with timer drains, that they typically will free flow too much, but that's something you can take a look at one of our other PowerPoints. So there's coalescing filters, and here's just some quick information on oil separation, which is also an important issue and will become also as standards become more stringent on the water we discharge from our plants. Just a quick plug on one particular product. Drainol is a company which makes a unit, and it's the only unit they make, and it's designed to drain water from compressed air systems. And it utilizes a magnetically operated float which goes up and down. And as it rises, the float acting magnetically operated valve snaps open an inlet air supply, which is what powers the unit, and that in turn opens up an air cylinder and a 1-inch ball valve, and all the material is discharged from the system, and it just does a great job. It's simple, reliable, it's very easy to install. You just literally set it on the floor, and it'll probably outlast you at the amount of years it puts into your plant by causing virtually no trouble. It's a great product, and we use it all the time. And basically, installation of a drain hole is a very simple, straightforward affair. This would be the area that you want to drain. You have a 1-inch drain line that comes down into the unit. This is a 1-inch discharge line going out. You've got a installation kit which comes with the unit, which includes plastic tubing and some T's and some small little valves to bounce off air supplies. Typically you find a connection up on the unit that you're draining, whether it's an air receiver or a separator, whatever it may be, a half a connection, typically a gauge connection, just fine. You tie these two lines together. One goes down and essentially is just a balance line to the unit so that you can balance the internal air pressure inside the unit with where you're draining from so the water will flow. And then the other is actually the actuation line, which operates the other cylinder. Simple unit, easy to install, and just as I said before, does a great job. If you've got questions about helping to maintain clean, dry air in your plant, contact us by email or give us a call, and I'll be glad to help you. We appreciate the time and listening to our little video here, and thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you.